Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another edition of God's Church, or the Church of God. I'm your host and speaker, Reverend RL. Today we're going to be talking about salvation, Jesus Christ, and what it means. Salvation in Jesus Christ is not just about everything going on. You see, salvation did not have much salvation in the Old Testament. The Old Testament was different from the New Testament. The New Testament was coming out because God wanted to redeem his people. The Old Testament, it just saw how God basically left his people to do what they wish. He figured as long as they were circumcised, they followed the 10 Commandments and the other 612 oral laws or Levitical laws from Moses, we'd have no problem. But the laws in the Torah didn't go about. So then he had his prophets come. His prophets were there to talk about the coming of Jesus. Jesus had many times was talked about in things like Proverbs and Psalms, but no one wanted to believe it. They were talking about it in Psalms, alone, that he was coming. But people said, oh, that's a bunch of bull honky. Well, Psalms is pretty big. There's over 100 verses in Psalms, and mostly it was Psalms with singing. I think Ecclesiastics was one of the things that had no, Ecclesiastic was one of those that did not have any, I believe, messianic prophecies. But if you look for the stars, you can find that in Psalms, or if you look at the proper scriptures in Psalms, it will talk about certain things that God will do for the people. Like one was, like this. This one was talking about Jesus' words in Psalms 22 when he says, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? Remember, Jesus said at the end of the cross, he said pretty much, he said, my Lord, why have you forsaken me, Like this one, Psalms 27:12. Again, Jesus said under salvation, when he was talking about the thing of the prophecies being fulfilled for the Messiah to come, it says, deliver me not over unto the will of mine enemies, for false witnesses are rising up against me, and such as I breathe out cruelty. Yes, he was talking about how false accusations by the Sanhedrin. Into thy hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord God of truth. He's talking about at the end when he basically gave up the ghost in Psalms 31:5. He basically said that. If you look at those scriptures, you know that the prophecies have been fulfilled. Like this one. He keepeth all his bones, not one of them is broken. Psalms 34:20. What does that mean? It means he was pierced with a spear. His bones weren't broken like the other two hanging on the cross. Or this one. Psalm 35:11. False witnesses did rise up. They laid to me charge things I not knew, things that I knew not. If you look at it that way, they charged Jesus with stuff that, he never did. Let not them that are mine enemies wrongfully rejoice over me, neither let them wink with the eye that hate me without cause. Yeah, 35:19. If you look at all these prophecies and stars, you'll realize that he was talking about, everything that came about, But God will redeem my soul from the power of the grave, for he shall receive me, Selah, or hell. Psalms 49:15. Look at that. Halfway through the Psalms, I've already read to you some of the prophecies that Jesus was being foretold in this. So while you're sitting there thinking about that, just remember, salvation comes within, but you also have to do good works. And you have to do the right things to be redeemed. Thou hast ascended on high. Thou hast led captivity captive. Thou hast received gifts for men. Yea, for the rebellious also the Lord God might dwell amongst us. Another one of his messianic prophecies. For this one. His name shall endure forever. His name shall be continued as long as the sun, and men shall be blessed in him. All nations shall call him blessed. He's talking about Jesus right there. Talking about Jesus in the Psalms. All these are there for a reason. These stars were put in for a reason, but most Bibles don't got a star. For great is thy mercy towards me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowliest cell. Lover and friend hast thou put far from me, and mine acquaintance in the darkness. I have made a covenant with my chosen. I have swore unto David my servant. Talking about the coming of Jesus. Also I make him my firstborn higher than the kings in the earth. Yes, all these in the stars have a reason for it. These stars speak volumes alone. I said, O my God, take me not away. In the midst of my days, thy years are thou throughout all generations. Stars there. Basically, the stars were there for a reason. The reason had them. Each one had it for a reason. The prophecies were speaking of it. For my love they are my adversaries, but I give unto prayer. When ye shall be judged, let him be condemned, and let his prayer become sin. Again, part of the prophecies. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstools. Psalms 110. You look at it that way. Everything he did. There's even Psalms 118. And then you have these other ones. And these other ones are just, Psalms 120s. All of these were there for a reason. I think there's like Psalms 150, But yeah, King David wrote all the Psalms. But he also got the inspiration from God. It was like 150, yeah. So, while we're talking about salvation comes within. But remember, if you don't do good works and you don't follow the Bible, what God gave us to follow him, we're all going to be falling flat on our face, because this is going to be part 1 of salvation. Here's another scripture. And Jesus basically said this in the Gospel of St. John 3:16. Everyone knows 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. You don't just need to believe. You got to follow the 10 Commandments, the golden rule for salvation. 5:24. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that heareth my word, and believeth on him that sent me, has everlasting life, and shall not come unto condemnation, but is passed from death unto life. Or 6:24. John 6:24. No, 6:47, I should say. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me has everlasting life. Yes, but that is just part of the equation. You can't just sit there, commit murder, and then say you're forgiven. No, you need to do good works. Good works, and you must pray. You must preach, and you must do things that God likes in his eyes, so he can do what needs to be done. God's the one who gave you the Bible. God gave you the handbook. The handbook is the handbook that tells you what's going to be. Please wait for me to get part 2 of this video to be put together. Thank you, and may God bless the world.